Welcome to the Handful of Leaves podcast. My name is Cheryl, and today I have with me a special guest, Brother Chye Chye. Hello, Brother Chye Chye.
Hello, Cheryl. Hi.
So, Brother Chye Chye is a Dhamma practitioner, student of the Buddha, and he loves cats and dogs.
Yes.
I'll let him introduce the name of his cute little cats and dogs.
Okay, I have a handful of animals at my place. So I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. My first dog is called Bodhi, and my second dog is called Metta. My two other cats, one cat is called Satta, the other cat is called Chitta. My aim is that you put the name together, then it means something. I said Bodhi, Satta, Bodhi, Chitta.
So last time I went to Brother Chye Chye's house, and it was quite funny because Metta was kind of hyper.
Very.
And then I think Brother Chye Chye was scolding, Metta, sit down, Metta, stop it.
No Metta already.
Yeah, I found it so funny and ironic.
Yeah, it's very active, very active. Also means that he has a lot of metta for everyone. So it's very friendly to everyone and wants to play with everyone. Yeah, that's right.
Today,
Yep.
I've invited Brother Chye Chye for a challenging topic. So it's relating to the idea of taking refuge to the Sangha, which we always do,
Okay.
and really wanting to dig deep to understand what does it mean to respect the Sangha? What does it mean to take refuge in them? And to what extent should we rely on them and on ourselves in this practice?
Okay. Let me answer the first part about taking refuge in Sangha. I think that's what most Buddhists will do. And it's commonly done. I mean, when you first become a Buddhist, you take refuge in Triple Gem, and one of them is the Sangha, right? So let me break down into 2 parts, right? So one is called taking refuge, and one is the Sangha, right? So what does taking refuge mean, right? So by the word, it means that you're actually taking shelter, or you go to a place that's very safe, right? Or someone or a place that you have trust and confidence in, right? Because when you are at that place, or when you're with somebody, or when you're with the object, it actually protect you from danger in whatever sense, right? So typically, when somebody take refuge in the triple gems, it also mean that you want to follow this path, you have confidence in this path, to protect you from the danger of the world or the danger of the mind, or the akusala mind, right? The greed, hatred, delusion. And it's also coincidentally, when you want to be a Buddhist, the first thing that you do is to take refuge in the triple gem, in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, right? So that is the taking refuge part, right? And then let me talk about the Sangha part, the second part about Sangha, right? Ideally, Sangha in the Buddhist time, it refers to the Arya Sangha, right? That's why in the recitation of the quality of Sangha, you talk about the 4 pairs of person, the 8 types of individuals, right? And there's nowhere that they talk about donning the robes, right? It's all about the qualities of the Sangha, right? So Arya Sangha means that one who have realized at least a first stage of sainthood. Because in the Buddhist practice, especially in the Theravada practice, when you practice Dhamma, you have different attainment, right? So if you attain the first fruit of the attainment, that qualify you as Arya Sangha. And total, there are 4 stages. Yeah. Okay, so that's Arya Sangha. But nowadays, conventionally, they are the monastic community. They're in robes or they are ordained, right? And they are the representative of the monastic community who devote their lives to the practice of Dhamma. And they're important because they're the ones that share and practice the Dhamma for 2,600 years. And today we can still learn the Dhamma because of them. So taking refuge in Sangha is 2 levels. One I call the external level, right? So it's about having confidence in the qualities of the ideal Sangha, and also in the monastic Sangha community, which have helped to preserve the teaching until today. So that's the external part, right? But more importantly, it's also about the internal part. Internal refuge in the Sangha, what does it mean? It's about having that confidence in ourselves that one day we can be purified to become the ideal Sangha. So from external, it must come to internal. That's why the Buddha said that, in the Parinibbana Sutta, he said, mendicants or bhikkhus, be an island unto yourself. Be your own refuge with no other refuge. What does it mean is that if you look at the quality of the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, we all can have the quality if we practice the Dhamma well and we follow the path. So that to me is taking refuge in Sangha externally and internally. Yeah.
And I'm very curious to hear from you about your journey in taking refuge in the Sangha. How
Yeah.
has that evolved from the first day you take refuge until today?
Very different. It's totally because initially when I take refuge in Sangha or in the Triple Gem, right, Buddha Dhamma Sangha, right, it's really the form, right, the Buddha Rupa, the text, the teachings, followed by the monastic form. But as you go deeper and deeper into the practice, you start to realize the Triple Gem is about the qualities of the Buddha. Although the Buddha is not around, but we can still feel the qualities of the Buddha, the timeless teaching, Dhamma, and the Sangha who have practiced well and practiced right. And because you take refuge in the qualities of the Triple Gem, you yourself will want to aspire to achieve that qualities in the Triple Gem, something you're confident in that you can achieve. Then you realize that actually the Triple Gem are all within us. We can achieve an awakened mind, we can taste the Dhamma. And Sangha just means that one day can be the ideal Sangha that the Buddha talked about. So right now, the Triple Gem has very special meaning for me. It means that I myself, if I walk the path correctly, the Triple Gem is inside me, and I take refuge in that Triple Gems.
I find that so beautiful that you are able to take the journey from taking refuge of an external object to moving it into characteristics and qualities that you could embody within yourself.
Yeah. So now taking refuge in the Triple Gem become very meaningful for me. It's no longer something that's external, but I have moved into the internal part of me that I want to achieve. I can achieve. I have the potential to achieve. Yeah.
And can you share more about the qualities? And I guess perhaps elaborating a bit more specifically on the qualities of the Sangha in the ideal sense that the Buddha expounded.
Okay, if you look at the phrase, it's talking about a Sangha that practice in a very honest way, practice correctly, and practice a way that inspire people, right? And of course, if you practice that way, one day you can attain the fruits of the Dhamma or the fruits of the path. And that's why there are 4 pairs and 8 types of individuals. And these are the people who we call the Arya Sangha, right? These are the people that bring immense merit to the world. That's why in the phrase it also say that there are unsurpassed few of merit for the world. Because this group of Sangha, not only they are harmless, but they also are very beneficial to the world when they share the teaching, when they share the path, and when they guide you accordingly to the practice itself. And they also worthy of give, worthy of hospitality, and worthy of offering because they themselves have walked the path, they themselves have benefited from the path, and they have realized, and now they share the Dhamma. And that's the reason why they're worthy of all this offering, gifts, and hospitality. So to me, this is the ideal quality of Sangha that is set by the stanza and also something that we all can achieve. We all can achieve if we walk the path correctly.
So you're saying one was they walk correctly.
Yes.
Secondly is they walk in an inspiring way.
Yes, in an inspiring way, that's right.
And I think 2 more would be with integrity and with insight.
With integrity, honest, they practice honestly in a very honest way.
Okay. And I think the point that you mentioned about inspiring is something very interesting because inspiring can be sometimes based on a lay person's expectations.
Yes,
so for
that's right,
example,
that's right.
I can view a teacher to be inspiring because they sit in a very straight manner. But then sometimes I
Okay.
see another monastic member from a different tradition where they are maybe constantly just scratching or fidgeting and they appear uninspiring. But then I hear from other people that, hey, this teacher is very well attained. So what exactly do you mean by inspiring? Is it through observing their conduct?
I think there are 2 parts. One is observing what they say, right? How they teach and what they say, right? And Buddha is very specific about how one should teach the Dhamma. For example, he said that the qualities of a good Dhamma speaker is one who can speak very clearly and one who can speak very logically, clear and logical. And he also speak in the sense that it is out of compassion for people and for the benefit of people. And the 5th one is about not speaking because he wants to have anything for himself, right? So if you look at the qualities of a Dhamma speaker or someone who is inspiring, right, there's nothing that talk about charisma. No, there's nothing about charisma or how popular this person is. It's about whether this person can guide you in a very clear way, logical way, and the thing that they speak is very beneficial to you as well. So that's one part about speaking the Dhamma. And second thing is about the conduct, right? That's the reason why the Buddha also say that when you want to observe someone, you must observe for a time frame, whether his conduct is in sync with what he say, right? If let's say this person say that I'll keep the precept, you must make sure that the conduct live up to the standard of keeping the precept or being mindful and things like that. These are two things that I look at Sangha. One is how they teach, not in a charismatic way, but in a way that they are very clear in their teaching and beneficial to other people. And one is their conduct. Their conduct must be in a way that is inspiring, in the sense that they are honest for the practice, they live up to the standard of whatever they say. Yeah. So that to me is inspiring. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for very clearly explaining this.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think in the age of Facebook, I tend to find myself guilty of trusting a teacher a little bit more if they have more likes on their page, more shares.
They're more charismatic and popular and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thanks
That's right.
for bringing it back to the sutta and reminding us clearly.
Mm.
And at the same time, there are also a lot of news or articles about monastic members who kind of go sideways. And so sometimes when I pay respect or meet a new monk that I've never met before, I can tend to be a little bit skeptical. So what is the way that we should relate to monastics skillfully? What are we paying respect to when we bow down to the ropes?
I think we have to be very clear that when we bow to a Sangha or to a group of Sangha, it's bowing to the whole Sangha community of the four direction in the past, present, and future. And that's what the Buddha said, right? If you bow to a Sangha, they represent the Sangha community. When you bow, it's not bowing to the person itself, but bowing into the Sangha community, the community that preserve the Dhamma, that practice the Dhamma. And the Buddha specifically said that in all direction and in all past, present, and future. And this is very important. Why? Because it's again that we take refuge, right? When you take refuge in the Sangha, it's not about the person. You take refuge in the qualities and in the community who practice well and practice together, right? And it's important because if you put your refuge in the person itself, what if the person doesn't live up to the expectation? Then either your faith will dwindle or your faith will just fall apart, and then you lose faith in the triple gem. So that's something that I always remind people to be very careful. When you bow to Sangha, it's really to the community, not to the person itself. Yeah. Because sometimes the person can fall short. You never know.
That's true. We're setting ourselves up for disappointments if we just put our faith 100% in a person.
Correct. That's right.
I'm curious in your journey as being a student of the Buddha, how to find that balance on relying on your teacher's guidance and rely on your own wisdom and mindfulness when you meet with challenges.
I think it need both. It need both. A Dhamma practice requires two parts, right? One is the knowledge. Knowledge means the Dhamma, how to practice, what to practice, and what should you be experiencing with the practice. So these are the Dhamma knowledge, right? The knowledge itself. The other part is the practice. It means that you put this knowledge into practice, right? And when you practice well and certain experience come through your practice, that's according to the knowledge, that's what I call insight. So Dhamma practice means when the knowledge and the practical side start to gel together, and that's the insight. Okay, so that's to me the Dhamma practice. So to me, an ideal teacher or teacher should have these two parts come together, right? He should be able to give you the instruction, and he should be the one that have realized some part of the instruction. And that's the reason why we go to the teacher to ask for guidance. When we practice or when we meet with any obstacle, we go to them, right? And to me, a teacher is important as well as our own practice. And why? It's because sometimes the mind can play a lot of trick on us. Sometimes we find excuses, or sometimes we can be too overzealous. And so that's why we need a teacher to really guide us and bring us back to a balance. So to me, a teacher and your own practice, it must come hand in hand together. And it must be like that. Because even the Buddha said that you must frequently visit a Sangha or visit a community to discuss Dhamma, to share Dhamma, or to talk about Dhamma. And we also know that in the Mangala Sutta, one of the highest blessings is to be able to share Dhamma or to learn Dhamma from a Sangha community or a teacher itself. Yeah. Yeah.
Was there a time where you leaned too much on one end or the other?
Yes and no lah. I'm a Libra, right? So Libra tends to be a bit more balanced.
Me
Too
too,
much-
I'm a Libra.
Are you Libra though? Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
Libra. So my logical and emotional side can be quite better. So for example, let's say I really like a teacher, I learn the teaching, and I feel that I'm too attached to a teacher, then I'll pull back. But if you want to know when I lean too much, is that when you follow a teacher and you find that you just believe 100% the teacher without verifying, that's I think is a bit too much, right? Or you do your own practice and believe yourself too much that you don't go to a teacher anymore or don't seek guidance anymore and become very egoistic, right? And so that's also a danger to realize. So a good balance is there will be a time for us to practice, and then when you meet with obstacle, there's a time for you to discuss Dhamma with a teacher and to seek guidance. So that to me is a well-balanced practitioner.
Wonderful. And I resonate a lot with that. I am the type that can become quite attached to a teacher. And then sometimes I notice that my mind becomes very biased when I see teachings from other teachers or other traditions. I'll be
Correct.
like, but my teacher said it better.
That's right.
That's when I know I need to check myself on this and watch this
Right.
attachment.
Right. I mean, all these are attachments, but sometimes it's just like that. People will get attached to things that they like. So it's also a practice for us to realize that it's also attachment and pull back.
And now we move gears a little bit. Sometimes you can hear criticisms about Sangha members, but sometimes it's unfounded. You yourself also don't know whether it's true or not. And we can get a bit confused.
Yeah.
What is a practical advice on how we can go about being skillful?
I think to me, it's about, okay, if that particular conversation is not factual, is not helpful and not kind, I'll typically just ignore it. Like, for example, let's say people talk about, oh, no, that Sangha member, he looked very proud. Not factual, right? Not factual and not helpful. So I'll just ignore it. I'll just avoid discussing that conversation. But having said that, I also think that sometimes we have to give a benefit of doubt to people who are saying it. You must see where the person is coming from, right? If let's say it's a very genuine concern about a Sangha, then probably we can discuss about it in a very open mind and see where are the facts and what are the things that the person is trying to say. Because I find sometimes in the Buddhist community, when somebody talk about Sangha, it's like no, taboo, it's bad karma, right? But I also think that we need to provide a safe place for people who can express their genuine concern over a Sangha rather than brush it off. It's balance between what they're talking, is it helpful, is it factual or not? Or is it a genuine concern? If it's a genuine concern, then probably we can explore and discuss about it so that this community can thrive, this community can grow together and be honest together.
Yes, and that is very helpful advice because I had a conversation with a friend recently and she was feeling very troubled by the things that she's hearing.
Yeah.
And the first thing she feels is that, oh no, what is going to happen to my practice if my teacher is truly like that? And then the second thing is everyone say, don't talk about this, it's bad karma, exactly like you mentioned. Negative things, we sometimes need to still bring it up in a skillful way. It's for the long-term benefit for the community to thrive.
Correct. I think it's important to create a safe space for people to really express their genuine concern. But yet we also need to have a safe space for people who talk nonsense about Sangha, like very unhelpful or even cast their own expectation on the Sangha, say he should like this, he should like this. So it's a balance, right? And that balance comes with certain mindfulness. You check whether, hey, he's talking about this, is it helpful? Or is it real? Or is it factual? So this is something that we had to take care of. Yeah.
Then to what extent is it a layperson's duty to provide feedback to monastic members?
It's absolutely a layperson responsibility, really, to me. If you go back to the Buddha's time, most of the Vinaya came about because the lay people go and complain to the Buddha. Hey, Buddha, and the Buddha said, yeah, it's true. They shouldn't be like that. So let me have the Vinaya rule about this. Yeah. So in the past, like that, the lay people will go to the Buddha and feedback. So they're like the quality control of the Sangha. And that's how the Sangha community grow and grow so much during the Buddha's time. Because there's this mutual trust among each other that the Bhikkhu teach the right Dhamma, and the lay people will also give feedback to the Bhikkhus or the monastic Sangha. And to me, it's important because we are the one that support the Sangha. We are the one that help the Sangha grow. In a way, we are also responsible whether the Sangha are going the right or the wrong way. And to me, that's a baseline. It's about the four hierarchical rules, right? Because that in the Monastic Sangha there are different vinayas, right? So if it's about the 4 very serious rules that they shouldn't breach, for me, I'll just go to whatever the temple or to the place and give a feedback for them to investigate.
It's
That-
very
that's-
clear cut on that.
Yeah, that's me. Then for other things like minor, maybe the rope is improper. I don't really bother lah. But these are things that does not bring harm to other people. So my baseline is if the conduct bring harm to other people, especially to devotees, for me, I'll just voice out because it's really our responsibility to make sure that we help each other. So the Sangha give us the Dhamma and we also help the Sangha to grow in a pure way.
Thank you very much, Brother Chye Chye, for today's short and snazzy episode where
Thank
we
you.
learn how to relate to the Sangha skillfully, what it
Right.
means to take refuge.
Right.
And I hope to all our listeners, you take away 1 or 2 points that help you to improve your practice and to continue to grow together with the Sangha community, both in the external form as well as the internal qualities within yourself. Any last words?
Yeah,
Yes.
if you're interested to me, if you want to grow in the Dhamma, have a relationship with the Sangha, I think it's good also to know what the rules are, right? A book that's quite interesting is called the Bhikkhu Rules for Lay People. So it summarizes how should they conduct themselves and what are the rules and things like that. When you read all these rules, you find that you're very inspired by them because it's such a thorough training for the monastic. So in both ways, when you know it, you will roughly know how is it like, and you also be inspired by the community.
Thank you so much, Brother Chye Chye, and to all listeners, see you again in the next episode.